Welcome back to SportsLine. I'm Steve Wrigley. The phone number is 615-737-7767. Boy, it's a silent group out there. It must be the heat. Maybe it's August. Maybe you're still outside having fun with the kids. Let's see. The sun set about 35 minutes ago. Maybe you're just rocking on the rocking chair and you got the TV on in the background and you're just enjoying a nice peaceful night in Middle Tennessee. Eric Decker is new to Tennessee, pickup in the offseason, a wide receiver, a lot of experience, a lot of big stats over the career. He's a machine in the red zone, so that should help Marcus Mariota maybe throw for a couple more touchdowns. He's got a lot of mileage, a lot of traction on that body, but he's happy to be here in Tennessee and playing for the Titans. Here's Eric Decker.
100%, 100%, especially with preseason game one. I'm not too, I guess, overly excited or overly anxious. And again, I said it'll be good to see some old teammates, some old coaches. You know, I had some good times up there, and but again, this is business. This is my job, and looking forward to getting reps with Marcus and playing against someone else rather than ourselves.
Is it different being in a different uniform with a different team? Does that change the first game, or is it all just football every year?
It's kind of all football every year. You know, preseason games are, now when you get old enough, they're kind of like warm-up games. You know, you don't get overly amped up or, you know, I guess excited, because you know you got to get your work in and keep your body healthy and really prep for you know, week one when things really matter.
You've been through this before, but will it be a little bit different going into that stadium, playing for another team, staying on the opposite sideline, or you just...
Well, I haven't been to their guest locker room, so it'll be good to see that. I know the stadium well. Like I said, just excited to see some of the guys, you know, that are still up there, that are good buddies. Other than that, just a work trip for me.
A lot of focus on yourself and Corey and Taywan, but watching practice, it looks like 18 just keeps humming along out there every day.
Rashard he's a great football player, you know, and he hasn't got talked about enough. Just he's a good route runner. He's fast. He does everything right, you know, and he's going to be a big weapon for us this year. And I think that's something that I'm excited about, is that we have weapons across the board in all the skill position rooms. So. You know, we have an opportunity to be good. No, we definitely, you know, in the whole receiver room, we work together, bounce ideas off each other, and just help each other out, you know, and we compete. You know, I think the big thing, too, is when you have greater competition, it brings the best out of you. And we got some talent in that receiver room, and we're all pushing each other to be better.
You said outside, in the dog days you can, sometimes teams waver with their focus and concentration and practice, but this team's unique in that it really hasn't. As a guy who's been around a little bit, do you sense that, and why?
Yeah, I definitely have. You know, especially coming off an off day, or like he said, when you get into week two, you're like, all right, let's get ready for the game finally. I want to play someone else. You can see guys kind of waver or just get mentally fatigued, but I think this team, it just talks about the culture and talks about, you know, the leadership on this team of being consistent day in, day out. You know, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And this team, our mentality is keep getting better, keep pushing each other, and we got to put the work in. You know, he takes care of us off the field, but when it's time to work, we work, and it's something exciting.
Where does that culture of leadership stem from? Where does it start?
Well, it starts with, you know, the guys that John Robinson gets in the locker room. It starts with Coach Malarkey and what he demands out of his players, and then it falls to the leaders in this locker room of demanding it from themselves and from the guys, you know, in their collective room, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, and just, you know, keeping each other accountable. I think everyone has a responsibility of that, and we've done a good job. You know, everyone checks their egos at the door. We work. We all get along, and we have fun doing it.
That's wide receiver Eric Decker talking from the Titans locker room. We're going to shift gears now and talk about the Tennessee Volunteers. They open up in Atlanta with Georgia Tech, kind of a home game for Tech, but I'm sure that there'll be plenty of the Big Orange fans down there in Atlanta for that one in a couple weeks. Who's going to be at quarterback? Fall's being kind of tight-lipped. It's been a kind of a two-man race. It has been a two-man race. Quentin Dormady, he's been the 2-year backup to Josh Dobbs, and kind of a typical drop-back passer, a little bit bigger arm. And he's also being chased for that job by Jarrett Garantano, who is a dual threat. Guy can throw it, guy can run it. They have a new quarterbacks coach on Rocky Top. Larry Scott is the new offensive coordinator. Butch Jones is the mainstay. It's his team. And here's Butch. A good 11 minutes of Butch talking about his Tennessee Volunteers as they work their way through the summer, getting ready for Georgia Tech.
First of all, welcome, Zach, to your first media day. But good to see everyone. I think everyone's pretty much up to date besides yesterday. Kind of seeing everyone at practice each and every day, but we've been through 11 practices. The way I've kind of looked at it is we're in our third day of training camp. It's our third day where we have no summer school, and it's all football. And this next week is going to be critical, obviously, in the continued evolution of our football team. The big thing for us is just overall consistency. We can't skip steps, and that's going to be the big thing. And what I mean by you can't skip steps is your fundamentals, your habits, your details. We have a lot of work to be done. We're nowhere where we need to be in terms of being game ready. We still have a number of positions that are, extremely competitive. Some freshmen are kind of showing that, they're going to be able to play for us, while others they're still developing, and that's understood. But again, for this football team, it's just a high level of consistency with the details, the fundamentals, the toughness, the accountability, which we speak about, and we're developing those habits every single day. So I'll answer any questions y'all may have.
Coach, here a couple weeks in, have you seen evidence that you have a stronger and more well-conditioned team? Absolutely.
Just when you watch our football team, just from a visible standpoint, much bigger in muscle mass, much more explosive. I think we're a faster football team. Obviously, we have to get some individuals back, which we will this week, but they've had a very, very good offseason. We've really kind of continued that trend, Jimmy, in terms of lifting. We've lifted more than we have in the past in terms of training camp, and I think that's going to be critical for this young football team as we can continue to develop our strength levels as the season continues on as well, and we have to be a stronger football team at the end of the year as well.
To follow up on that, why have you lifted more during camp?
I think it's just where our football team is. We have a lot of young players. We're going to rely on a lot of youngsters. I think just the overall development. Our players have done a great job of embracing the strength and conditioning area. I think they understand, from terms of hydration, nutrition, continued in the weight room, all those things that are associated with, being a championship program and a championship team, and those championship habits, which we speak about on a daily basis.
Austin, Butch, can you talk about Brett Kendrick? You talk about toughness. He seems like one that's gotten progressively tougher from when he was here as a redshirt freshman all the way to now.
Tell you, Brett's come a long way, and really appreciate everything that he's brought to the table. It's been fun to watch his continued growth and development. And you're right, he's one of those individuals that has battled through some injuries and keeps coming back, and it's very, very important to him. And he's an individual who's really increased his strength and has really taken advantage of the weight room. But just his perseverance, his resolve, his toughness that he's displayed, we've needed that.
John?
Butch, when you decided to use Devin Berry as a kick returner, do you remember how that came about? Was it what you saw from him in high school, or was something he did here? How did that happen?
Yeah, kind of an evolution. He was a high school running back, and so he was gifted with the ball in his hands. And just like any freshman coming in, the first thing we do, can they catch kickoffs and can they catch punts, and kind of try out. And then we're doing this all the time. We'll usually start practice with a live kickoff versus kickoff return, and every time he was back there, he had the natural instincts that great returners possess. He has an innate ability to hit it, and really kickoff return is the equivalent of a run play on offense. And for him, there's also a technique involved. Really, we talk about catching the ball, moving forward, and stealing 5 yards. And obviously, he's been a weapon for us, and we're excited to have him back. And he takes his job very, very seriously. The players, when he goes back there, everyone expects something good to happen. But again, he just has that unique instincts in terms of what great returners have.
Steve?
Just wondering, based on what happened last year, how have you kind of changed your personal approach at all? And speak primarily the catchphrases, the slogans you use. They got some criticism last year by Star Wars.
Well,
Are you going to change that, or are you still going to use?
Well, I invite you. I kind of chuckle because I've educated some of the members of our local media that every coach has those. And for some reason at Tennessee, I think it's all kind of blown out of proportion because that's the one topic to talk about. But I think there's an NFL team that's using brick by brick. I think there's another college football team that's using own it. Every football program has those. It's a way to get the attention of your program. So we haven't been any different. I think it's been grossly over talked about, and again, it's something that relatability, ours is that way, details, accountability, and toughness. But I think if you do your research around the country, every football program has to have something that they're going to hang their hat on, whether it's in times of where you need perseverance, where it's times you need to focus your football team, and it really just exemplifies what that current football team needs. So nothing has really changed with what we're doing.
Butch,
I'm glad you asked that question, though.
Butch, you talked a lot about obviously getting into training camp mode. After going through 2 or 3 weeks of this, do you like the new rules where there's no two-a-days and the mandatory days off? We got to get completely away from football. Do you think that's good for the team development, or do you think you wish it was a little more old school where you do one of the two-a-days kind of grinded out type stuff?
You know, good question. I don't really think it's really changed the dynamics that much. If you look back, I believe we only had a fewer days last year. So really, the true two-a-days and three-a-days, those have really been the thing of the past for a number of years, particularly for us. So I don't see that much of a change. Again, everything is about the welfare and of our student athletes. I think the off day has been good for them. They have the ability to break away, but also they have to have the maturity with a full day off, because what happens is your body gets used to a certain routine. You get used to getting up at a certain moment in time. Your body gets used to all those things. And then when you completely shut the body down for 24 hours, you know, there takes some mental toughness involved to, hey, come back and let's go. But I think it's been healthy. I think it's been good for us. I think our players have enjoyed it. So I do. I think it's been good for us. The bigger thing is getting out of summer school. We have the most missed days of any school in our conference in terms of summer school. So for us now, we're really kind of a week behind in terms of training camp and the training camp structure. That's why we have to rely on the maturity of our football team, the leadership of our football team, and that's why every day has to be counted, and we have to make every day count, because we are a little bit behind in just an overall terms of a structure of training camp.
Grant?
What you mentioned, not skipping steps, do you think that's been a problem in the past, or if not, where does that emphasis come from?
No, I don't think it's been where we've lacked that. I believe we started 5-0 last year. I don't think that. I think every team is different, though. You know, every team that's a 30-year roster changes. That's what makes college football challenging and rewarding at the same time. But you can never assume anything. And the growth and development of a football team, you have to start from ground zero. And, a lot of times, you want to go from point A to point D, and that's, I guess, where, we talk about trust the process, follow the process, and you got to go from A to B to C, and you have to work your way up. And, a lot of times as young players, you struggle a little bit, and you want to be already made. And, there's a process, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's been in summer school. So the big thing for us, again, is just, you can't skip steps. And that means every practice has to count. Every rep is invaluable for learning and from a physical standpoint and everything that's associated with that.
In the back in the blue.
Coach, you talked about toughness And with this off-season conditioning program and everything, are you seeing a lot more aggressiveness out of your program, a lot more toughness as a result? And if so, are you seeing it up front?
Yeah. Another good question, and I'll tell you this, is toughness is a broad-based term. There's so much that goes into toughness. To me, it starts mentally. The mental conditioning with everything we talk about. If you're not mentally tough and mentally conditioned, there's no way you can be physically tough on a football field. And it starts with every player owning their conditioning. You know, a football play lasts 4 to 6 seconds long. And our expectation is play for 6 seconds and give 3 great efforts. So there's a mentality that goes along with it. But if you're not in great football condition, there's no way you can play through that. So it starts from a mental standpoint. Then obviously a physical standpoint as well. And that's where training camp is critical, because it teaches you resolve and perseverance and to grind through. And then I think you have to practice tough to be able to play tough on Saturdays, and we're always going to take care of our players, but it's our players understanding in these certain periods we have to go. And you can always work on toughness even in your individual drills, whether it's fitting up a form tackle, whether it's getting off a block, whether it's working on breaking a tackle, and that's something that we pride ourselves in. Also, I think the weight room and the strength is also a byproduct of toughness, so it's a broader term. But I thought last night we displayed some toughness. I thought, you know, a lot went into that. I think the other form of toughness is playing with leverage and pad level. And right now, we're too high of a football team. You know, I told our staff this, I told our team this morning, is we got to work and get our pad level down.
There he is. Butch Jones saying that the Vols just got to get down. They got to get a little lower. I really liked it. I thought he was very relaxed, very calm, seems very confident heading into the season for Tennessee. 3 times he complimented reporters on good questions. You don't hear that much out of college football coaches, but one thing you do hear out of every football coach in the month of August is, we are nowhere near where we need to be. I've heard Mike Mularkey say it. I've heard Derek Mason say it. And you just heard Butch Jones say it. A couple interesting notes in there. He thinks that the Vols have lifted more in the offseason and in spring camp or summer camp than they ever have in their past. And the Vols lead the SEC in players in summer school. So they got to get those guys back and catch up a little bit. We're going to take a break here on SportsLine. I didn't get one call yet tonight. There's still a couple minutes left in the show for you to give us a call at 615-737-7767. We're going to take a break, and on the other side, if there are no phone calls, we'll take a look at the rest of the Titans preseason schedule. I'm Steve Wrigley. I'm having a good time here on SportsLine. I hope you are too. See you in a minute.